Hello and welcome back to Vibrant League. I'm Chamberlain and I'm joined by the wonderful Dianic. It's my first time in this league though, Di, and I'm feeling a little bit excited because I haven't seen these teams play in quite some time. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling a little bit of nervous because we haven't casted in a very long time together.
Yeah.
So I'm also nervous because we have four amazing teams. So their last game of today has been cancelled. So we're only going to see four. But again, I'm just super nervous because you're right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And whew, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Been flown in just special for this occasion. And it's totally not because someone couldn't make it, but hey ho. Hey ho, I'm here. I'm here to have a good time. First game that we have is Blue Jays versus Unlimited. So those of you that have kind of been tuning in for a while will know both of these teams. And we'll head on to the map bans. It's best of ones. It's not the most exciting to discuss. There's no picks, so it's really just ban, decider. But the map is Clubhouse Die. And how are you feeling about this one?
Well, Clubhouse is the oldest map in competitive, so until now, I think every competitive team should know how to play this map, should know what are goals, what are no goals, what are you able to do, what are you not able to do, and when are you gonna fuck up, you're gonna get punished for it. If you make a mistake, you're gonna get punished for it because that's Clubhouse. They had the decision to make between Oregon and Clubhouse as the last two maps chose Clubhouse, meaning that they might be more confident on Clubhouse. So it's going to be super interesting to see what these two teams do. And also it's going to be interesting to see if they choose to play CCTV or buy on stage. As we've seen a lot of teams now tend to play more buy on stage. Would be interesting to see if these two teams now also going to do and stick to the new meta, or are they going to go back to CCTV and Garage and trying to do a take there.
Yeah, pretty simple stuff. They're not really leaving much to see. Of course, with Unlimited, they're technically going to be in LCQs, for those of you who don't know, so they won't really want to show too much. So they'll just be happy just going into the standard stuff, just getting some reps in, and they won't want to be showing people what they have prepped because of all the teams going into LCQs, for those of you that aren't aware what that is, last chance qualifiers for the Atlanta Major and Unlimited, they get an easy track right into it because they qualified because the Challenger League result last year. So 2022, they won obviously Challenger League and they get an automatic qualification for both Stage 1 and Stage 2 LCQs. So they have not really had to play any games. They've not been up against anything. They've not had to play open quals. They've not had to play really anything except from taking part in Combine and taking part in the T2 stuff earlier in the summer and also Talent League. So really, they're just kind of warming things up. So I'm hoping to get a good result from them. I'm hoping to get a good performance from them because, of course, there's a lot of questions over Unlimited coming into these LCQs, and people are going to be looking at them like, that's the easiest track for them. So I'm hoping that they can get themselves something from this.
You already said it, everything that we need to know about Unlimited. But what is on the other side? On the other side, we have Blue Jays talents rostered today. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up with Unlimited or even be better than them. As you said, Unlimited, they want to save some strat, maybe not show too many because the next few days coming, stage 2 is going to be interesting to see if Unlimited, they have strats. Are they going to play default? Are they going to play old siege? Or is going to go into a TDM meta? And Blue Jays talents, they obviously are already known that they are more into the TDM meta. They're a bit quicker team. They do have their strats. They're not afraid of throwing strats, but they're also not afraid of playing defaults. And I think that's going to be a good reason why I think we're going to see all maps. So I think we're going to see an overtime here.
You think so? You think you see an overtime?
I do believe we're going to see an overtime.
Well, I'd want an overtime again. First cast in Vibrant League, so I'd want to get at least a bit of an excitement going for it, especially going into a second game as well later on. So I'm hoping that we get a close game. But yeah, I haven't seen too much from this Blue Jays roster, and I also haven't seen too much from this Unlimited roster, just because, of course, they have changed quite a few people around. They've lost a few people as well. So I personally haven't been able to watch many of them. We are, of course, not just keeping you on the edge of your seat just for the sake of it. We are just waiting to get the players in the lobby. So just a few minutes before we do that, and then we'll get cracking with the actual games. But looking at the actual standings, Unlimited actually need some points because they are currently in that 7th place. They're struggling for points at the minute, so they need to get going inside of this league. Whether that is because they've been trialing people and making sure they have everything up to scratch, whether that is because they're not too bothered, they're really just getting reps in, or they're not showing too many strats, we'll never know. But if they want to compete in this league, they do need to start winning some games. And Blue Jays, they're in good form as well. Of course, they're kind of fighting for that top spot, so this could be a good result for them if they win it. So technically on paper, looks like Blue Jays should be the winners, but Unlimited, they did win Challenger League last year, so you can't really count them out.
And again, they might be just warming up, maybe they're just preparing for that stage 2. So we could see a lot of contesting, we could see a lot of interesting rounds, but as you already mentioned, we could also just see a overrun from Blue Jays talents. But you also said that both of these two teams are currently having new teammates or having new players in their team, meaning so maybe the team play is not up to standard. Maybe we're going to see a few mistakes, and especially on Clubhouse, that is very punishable. If you don't draw correctly, if you don't have the crossfire, if you don't refrag, that could be the meaning of an ending round. That could be the meaning if you win or if you lose a specific round or situation, if you're trying to take something. And it is Clubhouse, it's not Cafe where you could get away from cheeky drawn hiding spots with some runouts, with some spawn peaks. Yes, you can still get away with them on Clubhouse, but let's be honest, the map has been in the map pool for quite a long time, and teams know what they can expect, especially from a team who's been known to be a bit more quick as for Blue Jays talents. And for Unlimited, as you said, they might be saving strats, they might be maybe on a shorter end here, but they could also pull something off because of their team play. They could pull something off because they have not the support from the other side being in stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting at least a decent game. The two of them technically should be showing us something good. And again, I don't know what's been happening in terms of the form coming into this actual league, because again, like I say, it's my first appearance here, and I've just been floating around and brought in at the last minute. So yeah, I don't know specifically the actual pedigree coming into it. I just know the teams are outside of this one. We are, however, just waiting still to get people in the lobby. And what we're going to do, we're not going to keep waffling on until we are completely out of things to talk about, because we do want things to talk about during the game. So we're going to throw it to a very quick break, and then we'll get back straight into the action, and we'll see you here in a few minutes. Welcome back. We're going straight into the action on Clubhouse. Apologies for that slight delay. It's Blue Jays versus Unlimited, if you need the reminder. And of course, it is indeed Clubhouse. Straight into the operator ban phase. I'm Chamberine. I'm joined by Dianic. What are you expecting to see from these bans, Di?
I'm expecting to see, especially in the attack, a Ying and a second Heart Breacher. I hope to see an AC ban or even a Maverick ban, because it is Clubhouse at the end of the day. You have to breach quite a lot of things. If you want to make it harder for the attacking team, you're going to ban a Heart Breach. And then we have it. The first ban is going to be Hibana. Because there's a lot of TDM meta going on, a lot of teams are being very quick, pushing in or even rushing. I could definitely see here as a second attacker ban a Ying. For the defenders, I'll definitely say that it is pretty much standard what we're going to see. But no, I guess the second attacker is going to be Ying, and as the third, it's going to be also, my apologies, I can't even read the names now.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah. I'm already nervous. See, that's all what you're doing to me here.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Settle down. It's all good. We got this. We got this. It's also
You know,
it's the
heart's
second
beating
attack ban. Azami for the first defensive ban, which again is to be expected. It's very much pick your poison on the defense. Solus, Fenrir, Azami are very strong operator bans in the minute, but I suspect we might get something a bit more specific to Clubhouse in the form of maybe Cade or Bandit, maybe potentially. But no, it's a Valkyrie. So pretty standard stuff there, except for maybe that also ban, which is, I guess, there is an argument for it, but at the same time, I feel like also is quite easily counterable, in the fact that there's a lot of impacts available.
Well, but we can talk about also the way we want. At the end of the day, she's not going to be played in this game. And for the defense now, we do have Kite and Bandit and Mute up. So getting the hard breach now is going to be quite tough for the enemy team. Not being able to play Hibana, meaning they have to rely on the secondary hard breach gadget or Ace, for example, Thermite or even Maverick. But as we can see first, Bomb Spot is going to be downstairs. And the question is now, how are they gonna deal with Kitchen Hatch? Meaning they can do 2 attacks now. Most likely is gonna be a Church push now. They can go for the Maverick, they can go for the Ace, and maybe go for a Church push. But dealing with that Kitchen Hatch now, especially when Kaid is in the play, is gonna be super tough. They have to get rid of the Kaid Claw, and then they have to be careful not to get C4'd. And as we can see, we have 3 C4s from the Kaid, Mira, and Mute. And that's gonna be a banger if they hit.
Going to be pretty straightforward, I think, because the Thatcher is still open, of course. So Thatcher and Cade, they just kind of cancel each other out. So I suspect that it won't be too difficult for them. It's really just that impact trick that they need to try and kind of plan around. Of course, Skipperino is the one that has the impacts for now. It's the only player on side that does have it. The rest of them have opted to bring quite a few C4s, so 3 C4s on side for the defense. And a little bit of a roam game at the top by Hypex, but not really want to get too involved. Instead, just get himself back to site. Skipperino is the one that is the most aggressive for now for Dunlimited on that top floor. So now Blue Jays setting things up on that east side. And it looks as though they're going to try and clear things out from the garage storage side, and it's Hypex to try and aggress onto that window. But for now, no one's on that window.
But he has to be careful not to be taken out too early in the round, because that would already mean a man advantage for Blue Jays Talents. As we can see currently, trying to take top floor to make it easier for them to get the vertical breach done on Kitchen. With the bug, they can just do it from the second floor in library, just shoot it down, and then you have basically all the walls, wooden floor open that you need. And then the Thermite could go in, or the Ace, then open up the Kitchen Hatch. But they still have to take a lot of other controls. They need bar control, they need also dirt control if they want to go for an arsenal take, and it's just taking a lot of time. As we can see, first C4 going out, and 2 kills already happened, refrags after each other.
Batusha there just gets a little bit aggressive on the main stairs. Does collect at least 1 player in the form of the Buck. That's Luke that's dropped off from courtesy of that C4. So instant refrag though, that comes out. So 4 versus 4 heading into that 1.5-minute mark. But Alzette just teeing things up to open up that bar hatch, and it should be pretty easy money here because they do have the Thatcher with them. But I don't think the cape trick is going to work in time, as Rourke has to evacuate the dance floor and get himself back in towards the site. And now they have the entire of this map except from the bottom floor, so things are looking pretty good except for maybe that also ban, which is.
But even though if it's looking too good, they have the control, they have everything they need, but they lost the buck, and that is an essential operator when they want to do a kitchen take, because you gotta be able to open up the entire floor. And yes, we still have the breaching charges from Ace, which already have been used on the floor, as we can see, but it's not enough to open up the entire floor in order to create the angles. Meaning Blue Jays Talents, they definitely have to change their plan here to go for a church take, get to blue take. We need at least 1 on secret stairs, 1 on old pit to then take blue, and then we need people pushing from the motor hatch down. But we still have a mirror window, we still have the C4s from EV out on the Mute, and we still have that Kaid C4 as well. So it's going to be a bit rough here. Let's see how they do this.
I might not really want to expose too much for now. The C4 does eventually go out, but won't find anything. His gap tooth down the bottom of the staircase will open up that wall, but will lose his head as a result of it. And we're in a 1 versus 4 scenario. Zaret's arrived a little bit too late to the party, and unfortunately for them, Dunlimited will win the round just on sheer patience alone there, Dai.
It was, but it wasn't only patience, but they took out a very important operator, and that was the Buck. As soon as that C4 hits on the Buck, it was nearly already round, depending, as they couldn't go for a kitchen take, and the entire lineup was kind of based on a kitchen take. So they couldn't do the vertical play. They had everything they needed to do to that. They still had the secondary gadget, the breaching charges, but it wasn't enough. And then to switch it over to a church deck where there was the mirror window waiting with a C4 from the mute and the close range shotgun, still having control of blue, but where there was the second mirror keeping blue intact, was just everything detrimented. And the round was meant to lose as soon as that bug was lost, because their entire setup from Unlimited was aimed towards holding motor, holding blue down. And when they had to switch it, they didn't have the capable of doing it. They didn't have the nades anymore from the Ayana. They used the H charges, but he got killed on the main stairs, so he couldn't open that mirror window. He couldn't contest the mute on the mirror window. So the round was decided at that point where Buck lost his life. They had to make the decision. It was a good decision to switch over because they couldn't deal with kitchen, but they didn't have the utility or didn't use the utility proper enough to make that church take happen.
Well, different site this time anyway. To the top floor we go. CCTV is now where we will go for this showdown within round number 2. It's an interesting choice. Of course, usually you see that game gym and bedroom first, but it's not coming out as early as we would like to see it. So we'll see if they can get this main breach on that plateau side set up. But the interesting thing that I've spotted here, Di, is that there is no hard breach bar the Maverick. So it looks like a full investment in going for that Maverick trick on the main breach, which is very rare. You don't get to see that often. They have, of course, paired it up with the sledge, so we'll see how successful they can be here. RZ has got half of it done for now. There's always a risky one when you put all of your chips into the one operator, considering that is a crucial point to this site, actually. And I just noticed there they've just tried to impact them off, but he's continuing it here, Di. He's going for it.
But he has to be careful, as we can see the Maverick trick hasn't really worked until now. He's struggling a bit on the breach. Yes, he opened up with Slash, so he just has to get the lower part down now, and the breach would be open. But he has to be careful. There's still some impact nades that could be from the side, from the Wumai on Hypex and from Skipper. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to use their EMPs to injure the Maverick or deal some damage on the Maverick. But the breach is still not open, as he's struggling a lot. And ever since Ace came out, Maverick hasn't been played as much anymore. An opening pick goes to the side of the Unlimited.
Yeah, Rorik collecting life of Zarit Sour. Just tried to be quick with it toward the logistics, dropping the hatch. Unfortunately, loses her life. But Rorik's going to collect another one as well. It's all said this time, and that is the Maverick gone. Hops in the window from Gap Tooth, though. He will catch one out on the rafters, but will immediately refrag, courtesy of Hypex, who's holding on to rafters, and goes for a second, almost a third. But Skipperino's there at the bottom of Garage to finish it off for Unlimited, and they won that one out. And what was a little bit of a questionable round coming in from the attacking side of Blue Jays there.
With the first kill happening, obviously opening pick from the Unlimited, round was still winnable. They could have still played it slow, and then in order later to get the garage breach open, take garage, and then plant on CCTV. They tried to open up CCTV breach. Maverick had a lot of issues there. He couldn't really get the breach open. As already mentioned, a lot of people stopped playing Maverick as soon as Ace came out, and there were quite a lot of Maverick mains in the community, but they just fell off as soon as Ace came. Better gun, good gadget, obviously secondary garage also very good, so it just made it easier for people to stay on the Ace. But also we didn't really see a counter breach. We didn't see a mute, we didn't see a bandit, we didn't see a kite on CCTV and cache, so Blue Jays talent, they could have went for an Ace, they could have went for Thermite, and they would have gotten the breach open no matter what. They could have gotten bottom garage open no matter what, but they just decided to stick with the Maverick. Also very smart decision, because if they would have brought a bandit, kite, or mute, they would have had to deal with that. But if you bring a Maverick, you gotta be able to deal with the breach. You gotta understand how the gadget works and how to use it, and then taking up so much time and then still not being able to open it was also tremendous for the side for Blue Jays talents. But then when the first kill happens, Unlimited just exploded. They just went for the next few kills, one after the other, and the round was over at that point.
On ahead to gym and bedroom now. To highlight, that was maybe a bit surprised that they didn't get to go here first or second, but will come out as their third option. So full rotation, at least of the sites for now, and it looks like a little bit of a bandit trick out towards that CCTV side. Allzet versus Vitusha. see how they can come up against here. Of course, they've doubled up on the hard breach this time. They've decided to bring the thermite and the ace. So plenty hard breach available to them. The bandit trick doesn't go off, fortunately, for Dunlimited. They're happy to concede that for now and then pull back towards the site. Zaritzer has a little bit of a cheeky play at the bottom of the red staircase. Could catch someone out should anyone just not pay that respect. Eevee, though, holding on towards that breach towards CCTV side, and also decides to fall back here. Quite a lot of 1.5s on side for Dunlimited. That'll be a bit of a challenge for Blue Jays to deal with. But Roddick's on the rotate up towards the main staircase. We'll see if they can get something off the back of that. Zaritzer now has claimed Cash almost as their own.
Great to see that aside from Blue Jays Talents, they decided to bring 2 hard breaches now. With 1 hard breacher last round, they really couldn't open up the wall what they needed. Now with 2, they can get more than what they need. In case of one of them 2 dying, the other one can take over the job and just finish it up. As we can see, first breach coming out on the CC, on the construction, with CC already being open. And Fermat used one of his gadgets. Ace only has 1 more, and that's enough to open up Jacuzzi, and they would have every hard breach open, which they would need in order to do a push from the side from Jacuzzi or from the side from construction. They have everything, they just need to understand how to use it now. As we saw, Luke is on the highway now, and first bandit tree coming out, meaning another thermite charge is gone. As we can see, they didn't bring the Thatcher this time, so they can't really open up Jacuzzi breach anymore, and Eevee just got 2 kills on the side from Cash.
He swings out and finishes off the cash push for now. Skipperino with a kill onto Luke as well, leaving Oz and Gaptooth with a clutch potential. But Eevee's found himself a triple inside of this round, looking for a 4K. Swings out onto that breach that's been opened up on the balcony and finishes off with a 4K. Dunlimited, they take another round, and that's a full sweep, 3 rounds in a row. And it's looking a little bit iffy here for Blue Jays. They're struggling on the map of Clubhouse.
Well, in the past few games, Blue Jay was very aggressive and very TDM meta team. Right now, they're not looking too good. Also, I'm not seeing a lot of meta operator being played. Yes, we have currently the Warden from the side from Dunlimited, but on the side from Blue Jays Talents, they're still struggling a bit with their lineup. Once they decide to bring the Thatcher on the other team, on the other round, they don't bring the Thatcher, they didn't even bring EMP, so they have nothing really to deal with on that main breach, for example, on Jacuzzi. That was also a big point why they lost their rounds. Yes, they still had an ace charge, but they had nothing to deal with. They didn't have a nade anymore. They didn't have the EMPs, let it be from Thatcher or from a secondary operator with the gadget.
Yeah.
So they couldn't really open it anymore. They used all their force on the side of Cash, which is essentially a good push if you know how to push it. But then Eevee came in, getting the 2 kills, killing off the pressure from Cash, meaning the person on highway, which I believe was Luke at the Ash, wasn't able to get the refrag there, putting his team also in a disadvantage, and then being killed further on, and then unable to even, for example, drop the hatch or watch from Logi hatch. It's just a lot of things went down as soon as Eevee. There should have been a retrade on Eevee. Like, the trade should have been there, it just wasn't, and that was a big reason why from the side from Blue Jays Talents lost it. Cheeky spawn pick coming in though.
Just a little bit. Catches a glimpse of Gaptooth and takes about 15 HP off of him. So lucky to get away from that one. But, you know, it's not too worrisome. Of course, they do have the double up on the hard breach. You know, worked out a little bit from the last time on top floor, but it's changed it around this time though. But Morat, he's found himself in a bit of a difficult scenario. Swing out towards the CCTV breach leaves him in 5 HP, and Hypex is going to be happy with that result so far. And still just shooting these drones, being unused on the top floor. Could be cut from the rotate though, because there's an angle being held at the top of the staircase, and he gets himself just past it. 20 HP to his name, and a couple of drones as well in the back pocket, and quite a bit of damage onto the Thatcher. So not a bad return for the roam game. Of course, Dunlimited they didn't want to go for the roam game the last time on the site, but this time they've at least shown a little bit of face. But Hypex, he's made it back to site, and now they have the map to themselves. Blue Jays, they can get comfortable with this and start making progress towards the site.
But they definitely gotta be careful here, because they only have 2 hard breacher from the side from Blue Jays Talents. If Ace dies now on the main stairs, they're gonna have a really hard time getting that kitchen breach. Where was I? Apologies, Merlin just was having a beautiful sing around in the background and just gotta make sure he's having his little kitty food right there. Sorry, my bad. So now Buck is alive, and they can now start doing the vertical pressure. As on the first round, we saw Buck was taken on very early in the round at the 2-minute mark. Now he's able to do the vertical play, and they could go potentially now for a Arsenal take. If they take now also Dirt, but they could also decide to go for a blue in church deck, knowing that Mira has 2 windows. One is placed on church, the other one is playing on blue. It would definitely play in the favor from the side from Blue Jays Talents to go here in Arsenal. To drop the hatch, to be in dirt, and then push and then just explode the side. If they fail to do that, they can't switch over. They cannot go for church because that's also a death sentence, which they saw in the round 1.
Same gunfight as we've seen the last time at the bottom of the main stairs, and it goes exactly the same way. The wall is almost opened up, but there's a mute jammer to stop it. Gaptooth loses his life, and the swing out towards the moto doorway does come from Alzeb. It can't quite land his shots, and a C4 goes deep from Vitusha. Has found himself a double behind the church wall now, and it looks as though Azari's with the same push as the last time down the blue staircase, so it will arrive a little bit later than what they did the last time. Skipperino unfortunately loses his life courtesy of that team kill, as Morat now set up on the moto doorway. Xavier's eventually killed off inside of blue, and Vitusha finishes off with a triple kill inside of church, and it's just not quite working on that bottom side. Not quite working on Clubhouse at all for Blue Jays so far on their attack.
But you gotta give it to the side for Unlimited. Each round they had the opening pick. Every single round of these they have won. The last 4 rounds they always had the opening pick. They either got a potential, a very important pick, for example, on the back on the first round, and the second round they just swung out and played fully aggressive. On the third round it was just a very slow double peak, then from Ivy coming in getting 2 people in cash, also very important, 2 kills there to win the round. And now in the last round it was just they were playing the waiting day game because they were able to, as we saw, there was some roaming going on. They had a little bit of struggle dealing with that, unable then to find the kill on Hypex, who was playing the Warden. He managed to rotate down on the main set, which obviously should not happen, especially when you're already holding that angle. But mistakes can happen. But this is what I meant at the beginning when we looked at the map. It's Clubhouse. So if you do a mistake, you're going to get punished for it. And not taking out that Warden early on in the round, giving your team a man advantage, was also quite crucial from the side of Blue Jay Talents. But not only that, they waited quite a long of time to push. The first kill happened at the last 40 seconds of the round. We don't want to get back to that 20-second method where the entire game just explodes in the last 20 seconds. It is CDM method, it can be a bit quicker. Blue Jays Talent is lacking quite a lot of aggression here. As we can see, Unlimited, when they have the opening pick, they go for it. They play aggressive on it. Last round, we saw first opening happening on the main stairs from the mirror, then C4 right after that, and then it was already a man advantage 3-5. Yes, they pulled it back to a 3-3, but it just wasn't enough because Unlimited overcame them with the aggression.
A little bit more of a spread out here from Unlimited than we've seen the last time. Skipperino all the way down inside of Strip. Starting things off, the wall will be opened into CCTV, which they struggled the last time. Of course, they brought that Maverick and they couldn't open it up. This time they will get that pretty straightforward because they've brought along the Thermite this time. But Vitusha, who's continuing their heater from that last round, will claim the life of Luke, and that's the Thatcher gone. So it'll be a little more difficult to get the other side in terms of cash if they do decide to go for that split push. But Garage is now opened up as well, so just want to link things up and see if they can get things started on that side of the map, because of course that is a very crucial point of the map that they do require. ZV at the bottom inside of Lounge for now behind that shield will also have to be dislodged at some point later on this side of this things. But Gaptooth, he's starting things off by a little bit of a tease in towards Garage. Doesn't quite want to go in yet. He's just kind of trying to get things in place before they do decide to try and dislodge the player on rafters, and it looks as though they are going to do that. The flashbangs in hand. The nades will shortly follow, but there's quite a lot of Wamai magnets to be dealt with. But if the nade does go over, it will special deliver it right to Hypex's feet, and surely his life will be forfeit here, but there's no one holding from the breach. Zarichar pushes in towards Lounge and completely forgets there's a player still on rafters, and unfortunately will be felled off the back of it. Alzet in a 1 versus 5 now. Not a great situation to find himself in. Finds one, but it's just an exit frag as Vitusha wants another one. Unlimited, they go 5 rounds flush on Clubhouse.
It's sad to see the Blue Jay Talents, they're struggling so much on the CCTV and cache take, because CCTV and cache is the most standard take there is currently in Rainbow Six Siege. Also, there's quite some explanation. So let me rephrase that. Let me make this more clear what I'm trying to say here. So there's a lot of thoughts, coming to my mind right here.
Yeah.
Basically, Clubhouse is a map where you just know what to do. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and eventually you get the plant out. Eventually you'll win the round. when you have the CC breach open as they had, when you have bottom garage open as they had, you just need someone to apply a bit of pressure on the side of secret, or Adams as people also like to call it, to prevent that person from peeking mini stairs into garage, and then the sledge could have focused on rafters, but as you said there beautifully, he just simply forgot that there was somebody playing on rafters. Yes, he was full flesh, it gave him a little bit of time, but he shouldn't have focused on the person on mini shoot. He should have run through or made a run for it, or be a bit more quick on that, eventually forget him or don't pay as much attention on it, to then get the person on rafters, and they could have then potentially won that round. But also there was need of cover. If the sledge dies on the stairs, two possibilities how he could have died. Eventually the person stood up and swung him fully, or he died by a pixel peek, or like through the railings. Both of these occasions, somebody on the garage door could have possibly prevented that. If there would have been a trade coming in there from the garage door, not from bottom garage, could have been different. But opening pick going this time again to Unlimited, 6 rounds in a row. They had opening picks now.
Zarit Ser there just misses their shots, so unfortunately they will not be inside of this round. Round number 6, starting things off really well for Unlimited. They also get a bandit trick off on towards the CCTV side as well, but Mara at least claims one back. It's Evie who went massive the last time on this site, so good pick to start things off for them, but slowly does it. They just set things up towards the garage side. They want to try and clear through this side of the map and make sure that they're ticking all their boxes, like you said. It's a very checklist-heavy map. You want to make sure you have things in the right place before doing things. HB not looking too hot for Unlimited, so there's an opportunity here for Blue Jays to try and steal around before they have to switch, but look on the window for now. We'll be trying to catch anyone that's not quite paying attention, and he will catch Hypex there trying to go for a swing. Unfortunately, takes his head off his shoulders, and another one trying to go for a second one, but won't find anything. Look here, is the aggressor now, of course, lost Zaritzer, so they're going to have to rely on him to try and get these frags on that entry roll.
But this is also now the first time that Blue Jays Talents, they have the upper hand now. They have not the mana advantages, also a lot of health advantages. We can see Rockstar and Vitsua, both of them are pretty low, below 40 HP of health, meaning 2 to 3 bullets also in the chest would be their end for them. But at the end of the day, it is a one-shot headshot game, so they can still do some damage here if Blue Jay Talents doesn't play this correctly. What they would need now is to get that jacuzzi wall open, look to relax a bit, not to peek as much, then get that jacuzzi breach open, push in, take bathroom, and then go for a plant. And they have the capability of doing that because they still have flashbangs, they still have 2 nades. They could go for this, but on the hatch, finding another kill, making it an even man count now from a 4 to 3.
Big mistake there, not realising that there's still a player inside of logistics. Unfortunately, that'll cost them their life. Fatusha gets flashed there, though, but Rorik's on the coverage anyway and gets himself a triple kill for the reward, but then immediately finds himself in the dirt. 1 versus 2 for Luke versus Fatusha and Skipperino. The advantage is in favour of Unlimited. Blue Jays had a good start here, but they've let the rounds slip, and it looks like they could be staring down the barrel of a match point very early on inside of this series. Very quick. 6-0 could be coming right up here. Vatusha still dancing around inside the bedroom, waiting for the pixel to come through, and we'll see the passing head of Luke finish him off. Unlimited. They take 6 rounds in a row on Clubhouse, starting things off beautifully with their defense built on the switch. Is it possible for Blue Jays to pull it back here, Dai, or do you think that this is a dead and buried series?
Well, I said at the beginning that I think we're going to see an overtime because I expected way, way more from the side from Blue Jays Talents. We've seen it quite a lot of in this league. We've seen in other leagues as well how they play, and usually they get their picks. Usually they get their 1v1s. Right now, they're doing quite a lot of mistakes, as already mentioned. If you do mistakes, you're going to get punished for this, especially on this map, and you had the time from the side from Blue Jay Talents. You had the time, you had the drones, you had the man count, you had every utility you needed in order to win that round, to even win that round with a 4-man up, or maybe make it near or close to a flawless round. But the intel was missing, peeking, swinging things based off no intel, or just of guessing things. For example, we saw him hugging the desk in logistics. Usually you would need to drone that. Drone that makes sure if your peak is already when you're in 5 rounds down, you need the intel, you need to know where every player is in order to play as smooth as possible. Also, they had everything they needed in order to get that jacuzzi breach open, but it just didn't happen, and a lot of things went wrong there. Yes, they had highway, yes, they had CCTV, they had con, they didn't have logistics and then dying to logistics on that hatch, especially for Slash, who still had 2 nades in pocket, flashbangs from the Thermite also not really being used. It's just a lot of mistakes here from the side of Blue Jays Talents, and they're not winning their ones, which is making everything worse. As at the end of the day, it is a one-shot headshot game. As said, they were low HP, they would just needed a few bullets to die, but they just couldn't land their shots.
30 seconds gone in match point, and nothing really accomplished as of yet from Unlimited, except from a little bit of hold inside of Garage. Slowly does it, not really rushing things. Sometimes teams could fall into the trap of getting that close to winning a game that they just decide to pull out the blitz and try and rush things through, but they're ticking all the boxes here, Unlimited. They're making sure to do things right and be as methodical as they possibly can be, including through this map. Hypex is the one to open up stock, and that at least gives them one avenue to prod this defense and give it a test. Zarit's the one that's inside of Generator. He'll be the one to have to be up against that test, as mentioned. Look cool. He's feeling a little bit ambitious. Just goes up the staircase, thought about it, but said, you know what, I'm going to go back to site. I don't really want to go and take a gunfight here. We're really up against it so far here. Wants to C4 back, wants to use it for something else. It was pre-placed inside of Kitchen, but it looks as though Unlimited are not really entertaining Kitchen as of yet, but you can hear the buckshots going off in the background from EV, and it looks as though they're setting things up now for that side of the take.
As we saw right there, as the few seconds we had the view on blue, we saw 2 mirror windows. One from Arsenal looking towards Oil Pit, the other one from Blue Generator looking into Motor or Church, meaning the main point for Blue Jays Talents is currently blue. If the Unlimited managed to get a hold of that, they would definitely just win the round, but as we can see, the Unlimited, they don't want to deal with that. They're gonna get Kitchen open, they have everything open, what they need now in order, for example, go for a Arsenal take, then they would just deny the entire strat from the side from Blue Jays Talents. They gotta be more careful here because the Unlimited is on match point. If they win this next round, meaning they have won the map, it is a best of 1, so there's not gonna be a second or third map for the side for Blue Jays Talents. They really need to play this now nearly to non-perfect if they want to pull this back. And I'm afraid that's gonna be a bit tough from the side from Blue Jays Talents.
Certainly is. They make quick work of the wall down towards Church because they didn't decide that they didn't want to leave it soft. It was fully reinforced, and they will open it up. Now Rorik's got himself inside of sight, but he realizes, whoopsie, I don't have the diffuser. It's Skipperino that has it, so can't quite go for it now. Skipperino's going to get the rotate round on. There's now a clash delivered to his face. It's going to try and zap him off that diffuser, but the drop from eBay at the back end will find one. Hypex with another. We're in a 2 versus 5. All it falls. 1 versus 5 for Murat. He's on clash, but it's not going to be enough. The diffuser is going to be down. They're swarming him like bees. And eventually they finish him off. Flawless round and a flawless map from Unlimited. They finish things off on Clubhouse 7-0. And Blue Jays just did not quite arrive to the party. And Unlimited leave them out.
What a round. I mean, last few rounds, we've seen 6 rounds from these two teams. We're already quite Unlimited-sided, but especially this last one, there were only a few seconds left in the round. Unlimited just decided, listen, we're going to flush side, we're going to enter every single possible way, and we're going to not care about that mirror setup in blue, and especially that's what they did there. They just went fully, and they opened up the entire charge. Well, it could have been potentially bandit tricked if the bandit would have been there. Yeah. Could have maybe gotten 2 ace charges off, maybe turned that entire round off, but he decided to give up the entire fully site. He still had 1 bandit charge in his pocket, that only 3 of them were displaced, meaning he had 1 inside his hands. Could have maybe made it least 1, then maybe hid in a corner and played with the eventuals, maybe played a death spot, but just leaving the side and leaving your team, and then everybody just being in fear, especially in blue when they have that setup. You gotta play a bit more back. When you already have a wall soft, you gotta still play back. That's why you don't typically place 2 mirror windows in blue. You usually play the other one in church wall, as we saw from Unlimited, because if you place that other one in blue and the other one in Arsenal leaning towards oil pits, you just you take that space away from the guy in janitor, because you gotta open up at least a visit hall. And especially if somebody drops from kitchen into an Arsenal, then swing starts, as we saw there, you're just going to be visible from both sides, and you don't really have a space where you can play. And it just went downhill. Didn't really look that Blue Jays Talents were organized there. Also in their attacks, a lot of mistakes, wasn't really organized. On the defense, the one round we saw, just a lot of mistakes from my side.
Yeah, I mean, Dunlimited are the favourites coming into this anyway, so it's kind of to be expected. Maybe it is a little bit more unexpected that they have taken so long to get up and running in the league, but these things happen. Now, they're certainly here, and they're here to make a statement, because 7-0 is a big statement to go out. And, you know, they do have quite a few games coming up. They've got, like I mentioned before the game started, they do have the LCQs coming up. So it's good that they've got themselves that under their belt, a little bit of an ego boost, if you will, make them feel good about the way they're playing, especially on a map like Club, where it does require quite a lot of team coordination and you have to make sure everything is on point to do it. Of course, it was a defensive sided half. So that did kind of go in their favor, and that they were starting on that defense. Is a harder map to attack. It is the map that demands a lot of that teamwork to actually go successfully on that attack. And Blue Jays unfortunately just didn't have it. They also made a couple of picks that were maybe a little bit more questionable. Maybe, the Maverick one coming through was a little bit of a strange decision. They did adapt to it, but unfortunately they just didn't win their ones. They didn't drone in the right areas, and simple mistakes like that, they unfortunately lose out to that. But we can't sell it short. Unlimited were excellent. They really set things up. They really managed their expectations. They made sure to win their ones. They played a lot of turtle strats. They didn't really get too aggressive, but once they got that open pick, they really reacted off the back of it, and it was a beautiful game to watch to finish off. So it was really good from them. But 7-0 is the final score on Clubhouse for Dunlimited versus Blue Jays. Dunlimited winning that one in pretty convincing fashion. So second game for the night, though, will be Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. And before we do that, we will have a short break before we set things up. But I say short break before we go to it. And maybe a little bit longer, because that was quite a quick game, it was quite a quick game. So maybe a few more minutes before we get the second game up for the night. But it will be Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. When we come back, we'll see you here shortly. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
Personalized product to the market. We offer you maximum freedom of choice. Let us show you how. Comprised of CNC milled double aluminum faceplates, you'll immediately see and feel the exceptional build quality. Feature-packed, Everest includes a modular media dock and magnetic numpad with programmable color display keys, hot swappable mechanical switches, RGB illumination, and a magnetic palm rest. The media dock with display dial allows you to control your media, adjust and easily switch profiles, check your system info, and more. It will also feature indicator LEDs. No matter if you're a lefty or require the numpad to be on the other side of the keyboard for macro purposes, gamers rejoice. Everest can make it so. Everest isn't just for gamers. It's designed with flexibility and freedom of choice at heart, making it the perfect keyboard for designers, illustrators, editors, and all professional users. Create profiles that remap your keyboard to have your most frequently used commands conveniently bound to keys of your choice. Optimize your workflow every day. Take your performance to the next level. We don't believe in one size fits all. Our highly modular design makes Everest just right for you. With countless personalized numpad, media dock, and palm rest configurations, Everest can be completely custom tailored to fit your needs. Everest supports you on your ascension to peak performance and matches your style.
Hi, I'm Tobias, founder of Mountain. There are a lot of good keyboards on the market, but nothing that truly allows you to completely customize your individual preferences. We've changed that. Using only the finest materials, Mountain's unique design and modularity enables you to create unparalleled level of personalization. We've created a unique product for mechanical keyboard enthusiasts, gamers, streamers, and creative people alike. The Everest keyboard can be what you want, when you need it, through ultimate freedom of choice. You now have the opportunity to be one of the first to get your hands on the most sophisticated feature-packed keyboard ever made. Thank you for supporting us.
Reach your summit with Mountain.
Hello and welcome back to Vibrant League. Game number 2 coming right up. It's Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. For those of you that maybe missed the first game, it was 7-0 to Down Limited versus Blue Jays Talents. So I'm hoping for a little bit more of a closer game, and generally we do get that on the map of Border Die. So what's your thoughts on that map?
Well, it is not a small map, it's not a bigger map, it's a middle map, as I like to call them.
Okay.
It's not too big, it's not too small. You still have variations to rotate around, to do some sneaky plays, to do a lot of roaming. You can also do some top-down holds or hold above, hold below, and just give the enemy a bit of a harder time to actually come close to side or do their strats. But it's also been quite a while now in the rotation pool. It's been taken out and then put back in after a smaller rework. But I think, honestly, I hope for a closer game. I already said at the beginning, like at the first map, that I think it's going to be overtime. Well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I would love to see a closer game. But
I'm going to stop you right there. Before you make a prediction and curse our game. So I'm going to ask you to not give us a result. We are ready to go, though. We're going to go straight into Border. The teams are ready. We're not waiting for them this time. They're waiting for us, actually. So we are going to get in and get ready to go. It is indeed Border. And yeah, I just had to stop you before you cursed it. I just had to do it. Sorry.
Yeah, better.
You said overtime last time, and we got 7-0. Yeah. So I'm going to have to stop you before you get the result. But yeah, Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. And I seen Ice Force at the weekend, actually. I seen them in action, and they were pretty good. They gave it a good try. They did not get through, unfortunately, to the end of it. But they did play against G2, so they give it a good crack. So they're up. They've been in good company this week. So yeah, Sissy State Force versus Ice Force. Starting on Border. First ban, Twitch, which is an interesting one, Diana.
See, I'm lost of words right here. Twitch is not a ban you would see usually. It's not a common ban. It's a very offhand pocket pick ban. I'd rather say you can get rid of the mirrors with the Twitch, but she's not as used to ban line. Let's say like that. Line is going to be the second one. Also, not very common, honestly. The first two bans are rather surprising because they're not used to be banned. They're not common bans. They're just more pocket bans. Solas was kind of to be expected as the first defender. She's pretty good on this map, especially where the floor is mostly wooden, so you could play from below and just shoot the enemies in the feet when they're trying to plant. And the last ban is going to be Fenrir, the operator who came out last season. Also pretty strong. A lot of teams still struggle to deal with that person, so the defender bans are pretty good, but the attacker bans are rather interesting.
Yeah, a little bit different. You know, Lion has seen a bit of an increase over the last few months, so I can kind of see the understanding behind that. The Twitch one does beg a few questions because, you know, realistically, the only reason to ban Twitch at the minute is if you're going to bring the mirror. But, you know, you would expect maybe there would be a counter ban of the mirror, but they didn't do it. They let the mirror through. So, you know, they've hopped right on it. So they banned Twitch, they've hopped right on the mirror. I mean, it's like yin and yang, isn't it? So it's pretty set up. It's a bit of a strange way for it to play out in terms of the ban. But anyway, we're into the game. Top floor, Armory. Is there any surprise there? I don't think there is. I don't think I could have went around in circles really, but there's no surprise if I went to Armory first, is there?
No, fortunately it's not, because Armory is the most played side, also the side which has one of the highest win rates, especially on Border here. Yes, there is Spa from Umtelas, who's quite close to that, who's also had a lot of wins as a defenders in the last words, I believe, is Workshop and Construction. Workshop and Ventilation. Construction is never been played, but honestly, seeing Armory here as a first map and then having the mirror, no Twitch, means they're gonna run out of Armory every time. They're gonna run out server. They're gonna play this very highly aggressive, and they're gonna have to deal with that, or they can also go to the other side, which might be Archives push, Archives take. But I suppose I think they're gonna have to show us that, and I'm very afraid that this could go both ways.
Reaxis starting things off with a little bit of a digression towards the balcony on the east side, but we've only got a drone so far. No one there for the engagement. A mission, of course, pitched up towards 90 and just going to dance around that rotate at the top of the metal staircase. But a long angle here found from Kelly, but just a tracer bullets just missed their head, so lucky to be alive for now. But that play around east there still happening. Currently, Reaxis is the one just moving around in that area. Snacks will find Kelly and finish off the Yayana before they can even get a foot inside of the map. Snacks is the one that claimed their life. And a good start here from the defense in Sissy State Punk so far, Dai.
It is an opening pick, as we can see, on Killer and Diana is not too crucial. If they would have lost the Hibana there, or the Thatcher, or the Ace, could have been quite more a deciding round. But because of the Diana, yes, 2 nades are gone, but it's not impossible to take this round. As we can see, CC Statepunks, they still have the control here on their side. They're still wasting a lot of time for Icefalls, and at the end of the day, they're the attacking team. They're playing against 5 enemies and the time itself, so they have to deal with it, because if they run out of time, the round goes default set to CC Statepunks, and that could be the first round win here. But with 1 minute 25 still left on the clock, they still have a lot to do. And as we can see, their attacking strike is more towards Archives than towards Armory.
Pano just knew where JJ was downstairs, was holding that angle on the main breach, and will get the reward of finding exactly where they are. Claims the life of the Warden, and evens up the scoreboard in the process. 4 each. So Snacks, though, only 5 HP, and he'll be felled at the back of the site, and that leaves 3 members left alive for the defense. But an instant balance of the equations leaves both teams with 3 members. A mission with that kill, and now Koji with a little bit of an overwatching towards the archive site, as Rolla still has control on security side as well. Reacts is just teasing a couple of shots towards that window, knows that that's where the majority of the push is set up. Pushing that last 45 seconds, though, Rolla has to try and make a little bit more of an amendment towards those holes that have been created inside of Fountain, using that as Ami. Keep a barrier, but a mission is the one to watch for now. Just sitting inside of Break Room could potentially go on that flank, as Koji still on this window die, still just waiting for an opportunity to catch someone out, and decides to go for the rotate instead. Rolo will find Peno, though, and he's made his move inside a Break Room, but Koji's surely going to come around and try and get this refrag, but he's waiting for it. He's on the angle, he's already ready, and a mission finishes it with another kill on the other side for Reaccess. CC Statepunks, they take the first defense on border.
Quite surprising, because the breach was open. They had everything they needed in order, for example, to go for a plant. Yes, they had a bill of struggle they didn't have covered there, as you can only plant behind the bomb, and it only covers you from the armory side, doesn't cover you from Fountain, meaning they would have need to take Fountain, would have need to get rid of those Kiba bars, which we saw were placed from the side from server. But CC Statepunks, they played it very smooth. They waited for the enemies. They made sure they had the control which they needed to have in order to win that round. They stayed in break. They stayed in Fountain. Way back, we saw the Azami throwing their Kiba barriers from CCTV into Fountain, making sure that they have the angle, they have the control of Fountain. Yes, they could have pushed through. It was not actually watched, but they had the control, meaning Icefalls, they was afraid, as we saw, it's only were 3 people left, and then pushed this down, everyone peeking and taking one-on-one guides. It wasn't really much teamwork at the end there, just trying to get those picks down, maybe get a man advantage in, and then get the kill. Didn't really work out, but now we can see we are on the basement floor. We are currently bathroom and Tellus. The side which they talked about is the second side, is with the most win rate. Second most win rate.
Interesting choice here from the defense, of course, going there, and not opting to have anyone on site. So very spread out for CC Statepunks for now. Snaxel does eventually make their way back, and Proxy Alarm getting popped out onto that balcony just to provide a little bit of warning for JJ as he plays around that break room and CCTV area for the time being. But Icox has set things up on the east side. It puts a little bit of pressure onto that window just to kind of feel things out and see how things are set up, as Kelly's the one to try and take break. Pinched together, though, there's 3 members on the other side, on the west side, for the attack, and it looks as though the main focus is now just get rid of the player inside of security, just so they can set things up for their take here. JJ playing on the hatch, gets at least one of the drones, and wastes a little bit of time, decides to drop off. You know what, I'm not going to contest any longer than I need to be, and at least gets rid of some of the nades in the process, drops down in towards that bottom floor. Scarex now has control of security, and has at least a little bit of reward for the time and effort that they put into that side of the map.
But with that hatch still being open, as we saw, somebody could still peek it, maybe get rid of some people who are playing on trying to rotate through. They could open the wall, create an ankle into Fountain, and then maybe have an easier take into office, but they gotta be careful.
Reaccess. He finds Kelly. He finds the first pick inside of this round. This Scarex is set up outside on the west balcony, waiting for an overpeak inside of Armory, and the mission is gonna oblige that. Just takes a lick of damage in the process and eventually loses their life, because Scarex, with a shuffle of the feet through the doorway, claims for that kill for his own, leaving us with 4 members left alive on each side, approaching that minute and a half And we're just getting the drones in here from ICOX, gathering as much intel as possible inside of Armory, making sure that we have the information on that top floor. And before we start moving in to get that execute started, 3 members for State Punks on the bottom floor. I'm unsure where the last one is. Snacks is actually spread out towards Passport, so a little bit of an extension still for now. But you need to get this vertical play started here, Dai.
Well, in order to do that, they have to get that information. And as we can see right now on the top right, they only have 4 drones left, and all of these 4 drones are already deployed. They need that information in order to take top floor, maybe get some vertical done, open up the hatch from the side from the Hibana or Ace. It just takes a lot of time, as we can see hatch is open. They have now top floor control, and they need to start it vertical because 40 seconds is not much.
It really isn't, but you wouldn't think there's only 40 seconds on this round left, because Scarex is just fully redecorating that wall inside of offices, making sure that they can maneuver around as much as possible. Nade will be at least pulled for now and teased, but it won't be sent as of yet. Koji is also getting some work done on the vertical, but we're approaching the last 15 seconds. It seems to be as if they've lost track of the time for now. Icox is going to get himself up on the window and collects the life of Reaccess, and they still have the advantage here, but he's found himself down. The diffuser is in the hands of Koji, and they're going to go for at least a drop on the hatch. Hits the Legion mine. Snacks finds Koji as well. There's only 2 members left standing for the attack, but JJ from the hatch finishes it off for State Punks, and they take the second round on border.
As already said, they've lost track of the time. They ran out of time. They dealt with the person in CCTV. They did what they had to do. Yes, they were in a man disadvantage, but when everybody left top floor, they just needed to gather that information. But with only 4 drones left, it was a bit hard. Some of these drones were used probably as flank drones or covered drones, and the last ones had to be used for information. But as we saw, we also saw them face check quite a lot because they didn't have the info. They used quite a lot of their drones at the beginning of the round on that Oryx. We saw him probably shoot at 2 to 3 drones, which are already quite crucial, considering you need those, especially at the end of the round. When the round is towards the ending point, you usually want to have at least 1 drone in your pocket to especially prevent that, to still have something, or a drone, or for example also Nyana. As we can see, Kelly is now going back to the Ayana to get that information which is needed, which they didn't have, and just losing time, just losing track of the time. Mainly that was the big reason why Iceforce Esports had a big loss in that round, because they didn't have the time to deal with the rest of the side.
Just a little bit better time management then seems to be the remedy for that one. So they won't have a chance at that site though, because of course we're going to a different one. Ventilation is where we are now, and a little bit of a different lineup from both sides. We see the Nomad coming through to make sure that there is no one going for those flanks. And Rolly, he's thinking about going for the run out instead. Thinks better of it, loses the default cam in the process, and just decides, you know what, I'm not going to go for it now. Just going to pull back. Snacks is also joining them on the bottom floor with a little bit of a spread on the top floor from Reaccess and JJ with a mission inside of Armory. So quite spread out just now. So State Punks, it's worked for them quite often, and it looks as though we're going to get a push in at the top of the east staircase, but look at that, just missing. Pano runs right into the east staircase and doesn't realise there's a player on the balcony, and unfortunately for the defense, it wasn't looking the right way there. Pano gets in for free and claims that part of the map. Reaccess will just be happy that he hasn't lost his life. He's all towards break at the same time, and JJ knows that they've lost that hold on east staircase now, as they have to just shimmy around at the top of this metal staircase and try and rejig where their hold is inside of Fountain, because Koji and Cole have already got themselves into Fountain and Archives. It looks as though they're going to shut down Reaccess on the roam, and tries to bang one through the wall but won't find anything. JD at the top of the staircase is just below the tracers. Pano though will find Snacks, and looks as though we've got a much better start here from Iceforce than what we've previously seen in these rounds, Dai.
Especially this is also one of the few rounds they got the opening pick, and now in a man advantage 3-5. It's pretty clear, but they're taking top floor because they need to have army control in order to get that vertical started with the sledge, which Koji is currently on. They need to attack Archives, then take armory, and then play the vertical, but they still have a C4 from below. As we can see, Polo is ready, or Roller is ready for the C4 here. They got a bit more careful, but this time they're very good at the time. 120 left means they can start the vertical soon enough, but they still have to deal with some players from the side from State Punks. But Chamarine, this is something else. Now they decided to give up top floor and go back straightly to side.
Yeah, they've recognised that they can't really get any further in towards Archives and Army. Instead, they just decide to give up the ghost for now. Of course, there's a minute left on the clock, so there's plenty of time for them to work something into the bathroom side. And Kelly will find a mission on the top floor side of Armory, and that leaves JJ actually in a 1 versus 5 because, unfortunately, Anade does find the feet of Rollo and leaves JJ with all of the hopes and dreams of this round on their shoulders. The plant will go down courtesy of Icox, and Kelly will finish it off with a flawless round for Ice Force, and they finally arrived on border. Ice Force pick up the first round after what has been a little bit of an iffy start for them, Dianic.
I mean, maybe they've received the WhatsApp message, you know, little hey yo boys, we're on border against Sissy State Punks here in Vibrant League. Get your things out, if you know what I mean.
Well, I hope they're not getting them out. I hope they're just getting the strats out.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a 1v5 at the end. Last 40 seconds, there was not pretty much that CC Statements could have done there. That a pretty good clear top floor, got the droning going, got the opening picks, pushed forward and kept on pushing. When they saw AIDS not going anywhere further, they decided to go down, creates a little bit of chaos, which helped them even more later in the round, as we saw somebody trying to rotate back from Armory, just getting picked up top floor, still leaving some of the players top floor, and then just creating the chaos, going in and planting, saved them the round, gave them a round. And if they keep going like this, I could definitely see them getting here the 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds, make it a neutral swap, but they have to keep going like this. As we saw the round before, on the second round, they had a lot of drawing problems, lost a lot of the rounds. And this round, the round before, they fixed that. And it's nice to see that they're still adapting to each other.
Certainly is. Though, back to the top floor, of course, Armory is where we are. And it's a pretty strong site. So, you know, statistics would feed into the fact that this is favouring Sissy State Punks. But Ice Force, they've got the momentum in their pocket. So let's hope that they can continue on a tear. A little bit of an extension out towards CCTV. Rollo in there with the Azami, and imagine just joining them inside of that 90 area, just to make sure they have a little bit of support, make sure that they can go between each other and support each other into that side of the map. As Reaccess is downstairs, likely with a C4 in pocket, so they can play off the back of that. They have the Valk, of course, so can get quite a lot of information fed back and try and guide these C4s true and accurately to their target. A minute gone, and really a little bit of a slower start here from Ice Force. They haven't really got a foot into the map, and they haven't been able to take anything from Sissy State Punks as of yet. Because, I mean, it's a little bit of a concern as well, because things are set up pretty beautifully from CCTV. I quite like this, actually. You know, Koji here, he seems to know, though, that there's a vault downstairs and does spot them ever so slightly and will finish him off. Beautifully done. Knew exactly where to look, knew exactly where Reaccess was, so saying it was a nice setup from the defense, but unfortunately it's not worked out so far for them.
But with 1 minute 35 left on the clock, they still have some time, still have some tasks to do. Same as here on border, there are some things you need to do in order to achieve something. But as we can see on the top right again, just some drones are missing.
Very unfortunate. Kelly swings out there and all of his shots are blocked courtesy of an Osa shield. And a mission loses his life. Even not Kelly, a mission is the one that loses his life. Rollo. There's a 20 HP as well, so it's not looking too great for Sissy State Punks. And of course, just as I was mentioning, his HP is taken from the round so cruelly by... I shouldn't spot who it was. I think it was Kelly that did it. I think it was a second kill for him in the round. JJ and Snacks now in 2 versus 5 scenario. Snacks has been moving around this map, been pretty fluid with it. Does find the life of it. Kelly, at least a beautiful shot though, but can't quite find the second one inside a fountain. And that leaves JJ in a 1 versus 4 scenario. The plant is now going down, has quite a bit of an angle to fight against the side of Archives. Just remember that you are warded, so you can block off the flashbang, but there's a pistol in hand from Scarex behind in the Ice Force. They take 2 rounds in a row and they balance it off on border. And finally, we have a series on our hands here, Di.
Well, you talked at the beginning of this round that Armory has the biggest win rate. Well,
yes, I cursed it.
It wasn't this round.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
awful. I'll own up
See,
to that one. That was
maybe we have to stop each other here. You stop me from predicting the outcome, and I'm gonna stop you now from predicting the round outcome.
I think so. I think that's what we need. I think that's what we need. We need a little bit of a filler here. We should stop trying to figure out how these rounds are going to go, because it's a game of Siege. You never know, especially with Ice Force having a little bit of momentum. Though it's a pretty good round though. Things setting up. I complimented Sissy State Punk's hold in CCTV, and it didn't quite work out for them. So what was it that went wrong there, Di?
it was just mainly the picks. As we saw, CC State Bucks, they lost one person quite early in the round. Late on, Ice Force, they kind of went together. They saw they can't really do much here in CCTV. They lost quite a few rounds there, and they just decided full on to change their approach. Then we saw also Koji, I believe, was downstairs getting the Valkyrie out. There was another person holding CCTV, meaning they already got one. They had a C4, knowing their Valkyrie cameras, and they just straight up pushed through them to office, got fountain control. But this time they made a very big difference. They went to the balcony on Archives, planted on the door, had the door open, created another angle into the side, denying any more places. For example, you can't really play more on...
Well, I know you're making a great point there. However, I feel like that needs to be exaggerated as to what has just occurred. Snacks there has just snuck a kill off of Ice Force, and it's their Ying. I was about to highlight the fact that they've set up a Ying, Glaz, and Monty plant. Not ideal when you use one of the crucial backbones of that plant. They've lost the Ying, but the smokes are still there, and Pano's going to go in for the plant anyway. It doesn't matter that they don't have it. He's going to get right in the corner and try and do it, but he unfortunately hits a goo mine, and he will be killed off because of it. 4 versus 3. Diffuser is recovered here, and Icox is on the coverage. Skates is surely going to get this one down just in time, but the C4 special delivery, you need to get out the way. Reaxis will find Scarex with it. And that leaves 2 members left alive for the attack here. And a third attempt at the plant. Can they finally get this done? Reaxis is ready for the swing. They're doubling up together. They are. Kelly finds one. It's a 3 versus 1 scenario. He's inside of Armory. Has to try and reclaim the defuse, but doesn't realise there's a player inside of Fountain. There's no one inside of Sight except from the one inside of Archives. Just deal with him and you win the round. But unfortunately not. You can't deal with that. Reaxis finishes things off. SSP, they pull that one back after what was a great start. They are a great couple of rounds back to back for Ice Force.
Well, I believe I had my head a little bit too much in the book right there.
There's a lot going on there, yeah.
Yeah, I can only agree with that. I was about to say the good change they did is to go to the balcony and then go into Archives, and they tried to do it again, but with a rush. But with the opening pick on the Ying, it was already decided.
Yeah.
You're losing the Ying, you can't really flash. You need those flashbangs in order to create chaos, in order for the glass being able to set up, probably, because as soon as the incandescents go off, you can then smoke a few seconds later, that giving your planter even more time, denying any C4s coming from above, because everyone's basically flashbanged. And just keep popping these Ying nades and just keep creating chaos. Eventually, we saw also the Amaru going in, which would have been also with Ying canals even better. But opening pick on the Ying was definitely denying that point.
Yeah, I think also the funny thing about that is, well, I say funny thing, I say unfortunate, it's probably a better way to describe it, is they were going for the plant, and they probably would have got it off if it wasn't for a pesky little Legion mine in the corner. So, not the greatest situation to find yourself in, and especially given that Legion mines are visible now, they're not hidden anymore, so an unfortunate area to find yourself in for that Montaigne. But changing things around, of course, we're not going to go for the rush again, because it's a different site, and rushes only really work once if they're successful. That one was not quite successful, and quite a few operators changing here. We're bringing along the Flores, bringing along the Osa as well, so quite a rejig here for the attack from Ice Force as they look to try and get things back on track. But the main thing they have to try and deal with for now at the top of this east staircase is indeed Reaxis, who has quite a hold inside of Fountain, quite a couple of feet holes. But Snacks has actually found Cody down below somehow, and now he's on the rotate at the top of the east staircase. So you have to be careful here. He's going to find himself a second one. Is it going to be a third? The Osa Shield will at least stop it for now, but he looking for a third outside on the balcony. Scarexo will shut him down before he can be any more of a menace inside of this round for Sissy State Punks. Oh, Icox, he's going to find another one. Rudely interrupts us. I was about to go and say, how are you feeling about this round so far?
Well, back to a 3v3 thing. It's very equal now, as you can see. They still have the A's, they still have the Flores, they still have the Osa. The 3 operators they basically need in order to win this round. If they want to do a breach, if they want to do a push, that's those 3, especially those 3 they need. On the other side, from CCC Punks, they have the Legion, they have the Warden, they have the Aruni. Always also operators, which are very crucial to actually winning a round or not.
Certainly are. And speaking of winning the round, it looks as though they're setting themselves up for that just now because the plant is going down with the coverage from the window and behind. So Pino will get it down. And Reax is the only one inside of sight for now is to try and contest that upside down repel, and he'll lose that gunfight, unfortunately. So Scarex comes out the top, Rolo now trying to recover something. We'll spot the person that's on the defuse here, but there's no one to actually cover it. He could long arm this die. He could just go for the defuse. He doesn't realise though, but a nice tight angle from the balcony upstairs. Icox claims Rolo's life, and now tucking himself into the corner here. Do they hear the defuse going down? He does indeed, then Icox with the swing onto a mission. Ice Force, they even up 3 apiece on border.
Beautiful push there from the side from Ice Force. Losing a rush, then going back in, losing 2 players. Also, they lost the buck, meaning they couldn't really start any vertical. Good adaptation on their side, you gotta give it to them. Yeah. Then going straight down, go for the breach, go for the plant, knowing at least 2 people are upstairs, in which they were from the side from CC State Punks, giving themselves an advantage just planting on side, having no nades, having no C4s. But the operator lineup from the side from the attackers was just way better than from the defenders. You gotta give it to them because they adapted on the situation that was given on the position of the CC State Punk players, which were 2 people above, 1 person below, knowing they have no C4s in their pockets. They can just go full on for the breach and just swing with confidence in winning their gunfights, and that's what I suppose is doing. If they're in the 1v1, they tend to win it, and as we saw, that led to their round win.
Certainly did, and that post-plant scenario was really well played as well. Of course, when they got the plant down, they did have the player on the upside down repel inside of Archives, another player on the balcony, making sure that they covered all of the angles. So it's really well played in the post-plant situation, does result in that round win. And that means that, we now stand at 3 apiece on border. The half switch does put Ice Force on the defense, and this is where my concern comes, because Ice Force are showing that they're a good team, and on the defense, I fancy them to edge this a little bit closer into the front and maybe lead this series a little bit, because they've lagged behind the entire night behind State Punks, and they need something from this to try and give them a little bit of boost. And I think that going at that defense, it probably will, given that Armoring Lockers is a strong site, though we have seen it lost. So we'll see how it plays out for this one. But just right now, we're having a little bit of a pause or an FPS bug in chat. I don't know who it was that got it, so they'll surely be back with us in just a few seconds. Koji there just with a little bit of beef in the chat, just letting them know, you threw that round, guys. You threw that. Ice Force there. Just giving it out and making sure that they know that, we're hunting out. But, like I say, we're on a break now. And I will ask the question, who have you got? Who do you think's got? Who's going to win this one? We'll do a little bit of a bet.
Damn. Cham, you really want me to cast you one of the teams?
No, because if you do it, if you pick one, I'll pick the other. So you can pick, and we'll have a little bit of a bet. And I'll give you...
Oh, so it's basically the cast a curse, it's just curse it all together.
Yeah, exactly. It cancels it out. That's exactly my thinking. And
I see,
you know what you'll get as a reward if you win?
Let me out.
You will get a crisp high five. Flown all the way out to Vienna. It won't be me giving you the high five.
Oh,
It'll probably be an Uber driver or something. I'll pay him and I'll be like, can you get over there and give Diana a high five for me on my behalf for winning this? But yeah,
okay.
Back to the point at hand. Who do you think is going to take the series?
See, just because of the adaptation and the variation Ice Force can deliver, I do believe Ice Force is going to take this. Just because they're so... How should I say? They're just so different. Like, they're not just always going for setups. They're also going for quick takes. We saw a rush. Yes, they lost the drink, but they committed to it. Yes, they could have changed something else, but their entire lineup was based on that and played around the ying. On the last round, we just saw they just adapted beautifully to the round. They had the breach, they had the Osa, they had the Flores, knowing 2 people above, 1 person is low. They just fully sent side, had an amazing plan, and because of that adaptation, because being able to maybe sometimes even look out of the box, especially on a map who's been taken out and put back into competitive, I do believe IFO is going to take this one.
Well, if you're in Twitch chat, do make sure you pick a name, either Chamberlain or Diana, see who you side with, because of course I'm now on the Sissy State Punk side, and we'll be unbiased, of course. You won't see any support from us. We'll just be here vibing, having a good time. You can tell that Di is in our relationship. She's the one that won't make a decision without there being at least some thought in it. Whereas I'm not. I just kind of wing things and hope for the best, really. But yeah, like I say, we are still just waiting on players get back in, and as a result of that, I think that we have waffled on long enough, Di. So we're going to take a very quick break where we get this tech issue resolved. So we'll see you back here in a few minutes, and thank you very much for tuning in. Ta-ta.
See you guys.
Hello and welcome back. We now have our tech issue resolved, and it's Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. For those of you that need a refresher, it is Border, and it's 3 apiece. So, I'm Chamberine, and I'm joined by Dianic, and it's looking like a pretty good game so far, Di. And we've got a little bet going with Crisp High 5 online. I'm a Sissy State Punks side. You're an Ice Forces side. Yours is a little bit more of a methodical approach in your actual reasoning for choosing them. It's just a little bit of caster on caster competition, that's all it is. But anyway, enough of our waffle. We're in the game, we're ready to go. We're going to Armory as well for the first defense for Ice Force. Of course, that is the strongest site on the map, and that is where we are heading to. And it was a mission that we're waiting on, so don't be confused as to why they're flaming a little bit for his PC, because it took a little bit of time to get back in. It took a bit of time to die, didn't it?
Well, they did, but he got in at the end of the day, so we can keep going with those beautiful rounds. As you already said, it's free, so I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out.
Huh. I'm just looking at that setup there from Pano. The punch holes there on the armory wall, definitely a choice. We'll come back to that later on, see how that develops within the round. Scarex is the one in charge of CCTV and the Azami, which is a very common spot. You usually see an Azami playing in there. Imagine now at the top of the south balcony on the east staircase. They're looking to try and aggress into that position. The Snacks and Co. Just gathering together on the break room door. The C4 almost finding 2. Just the 1 for now. Unfortunately, it is their hard breacher, so it will make things a little bit more difficult, but the wall is soft on Armory, and like I mentioned before, almost like a prophet, that wall being weirdly open does result in the life of Pano being claimed. We have a strange one. Oh, it's all falling apart here. Scarex runs out on Rollo, Killo with one onto Reaxis, and before Dianic can even get an input on the round, we're down to 2 versus 4. JJ on the balcony, a mission at the top of the staircase. They're linked together, there's nades in hand, surely this finds a player behind, but no, Koji's actually inside of Taco, which we didn't know is that little nook that's inside of Office. So there you go, I'm teaching you callouts on the fly and everything, chat. Hope you're enjoying yourself. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Ice Force here having a good start. They're definitely enjoying themselves on Border, aren't they?
Well, they are with now having not only man advantage, but still having 2 C4s in their pockets. And from the side from Sissy State Punks, Heartbreacher is gone, Slide is gone, Ram is gone. All of our operators are very essential. All of them are gone. They still have the Dokkaebi on their side. They still have the Ayana, have a nade, but now even the Dokkaebi is gone.
Yeah, it just seems to be boiling down to what the inevitable is. A nice Force win. Scarex with the final shot onto a mission closes it out on the top floor Armory. A nice Force, they get things started on their defense with a win after that short break. And Sissy State Punks, they look a bit shaky on that attack there, Di.
They did. I think after Killy took out the ace for a beautiful C4 coming through, that round was pretty much over unless they were able to take CCTV, which they struggled. Their take was meant to be CCTV, as we saw all of them stacking up on the door or even on the windows, but you already mentioned the breach was open on one side, on the other side. Yeah. So taking that long angle, also the door was open, which was already known, as we saw. They droned it out, knowing they're gonna go for a run out. Sledge tried to do a nade, but the run out came out immediately from the other side. It was keeper buried, so meaning if as soon as he ran back into CCTV, Sissy State Punks wasn't able to take the frag because it was keeper buried off. Somebody was holding it from 90 from the side from Ice Force Esports. So their force is and was basically, listen, we're gonna hold down CCTV because we need that, and that's what they did. Sissy State Punks couldn't handle it, and they gave up the round to Ice Force.
I do respect the vision from Pano, though, trying to open that wall up and try and find something. I do respect the thought. It was never ever going to work, and I respect that he did it. But, you know, I love when people try something new and maybe a little bit unorthodox. You know, it's always good when it works, but sometimes when it doesn't work. Fortunately for them, it doesn't really implicate their round. They'd still win the round anyway, because Sissy State Punks just struggled to get into the groove of that attack. Hopefully, they've made amendments this time. And speaking of amendments, they've changed their roster around a little bit. We have an IQ coming along for the ride, a Flores as well. And of course, the change in site and destination does usually mean a change in operators. And unfortunately, Pano's going to find himself in a very sticky situation again. Some questionable choices coming out from Pano today. Stuck in the balcony, loses his life to a mission. Starts things off here for Sissy Tate Punks with the opening pick in almost a second. So much damage done onto Scarex there with the rotate out of Fountain. He'll be happy just to be alive in this scenario. Rolo also looking to try and get in on the action outside of Break Room. Those is a mute jammer in there, and Kelly's the one inside. It's a wall bang as well. Reaxis knew exactly where Kelly was perched. Takes his life, and 3 members remain for Ice Force on this defense.
And what we can see here is Pain can not only confuse the enemies, but also can confuse his team. Talking about it, it's 4-2, Cham.
It certainly is. Mission finds another one. It's Icox this time. So it's a lifeline in the round. At least they've got 1 kill, but in the same breath, we do lose another member of Ice Force. Koji and Scarex now in a 2 versus 4 scenario. HB looking dire for Scarex though, but he's still on the top floor. Still has control of Office and still has a mirror window that has to be contested, but Snacks has snuck his way right into sight to go for the plant, and I don't think anyone's close enough to hear this. I don't think they realise it's happened, but Koji does. He sends a C4 deep, but it doesn't find its mark, unfortunately for him. Scarex drops the hatch. Koji finds Snacks as he tries to get out of the sight, and Koji now, with a rotate round towards main lobby, doesn't realise there's a player at the bottom of the east staircase. It's a mission to find himself a triple kill inside of this round, and Scarex, who was so lucky to still be in this round, is the last remaining member for the defense, but Rolo finishes it off. Not enough HP to win that one out. And the attacking side of Sissy Tate Punks wake up after what was an iffy start. 4 apiece now. It looks as though we're just going to go tit for tat here on Dianic.
Does look like that. With, I'm rather surprised of this round. We had Pain. He
yeah,
tried.
Pain.
He tried.
He did try. It's got to be respected. That's 2 rounds in a row. He's tried something. It's not worked. It's not worked.
I mean,
we're not even going to sugarcoat it. It has not worked.
Yeah,
Respect the vision. Always respect the vision. Is where we stand. We love to see someone try something new, but it doesn't happen. Unfortunately, this time it results in a round loss. Not directly because of it, but it happens. Moving into this round, though, Di, what have you got? What's your expectations moving into Bathroom and Tellers?
Well, second time that Ice Force Esports is now here on this bomb site. With Pain being on the east as last time, I do believe this time we're going to see something different. But same as the round before, we're bringing 4 C4s, but this time with a different operator. They decided to bring a Capcan instead of a Mira. So they're going to change up a little bit of their approach. As we can see, they're trying to talk to each other here, but it doesn't really work out, as we can see.
It's quite ironic that they've changed off the Mira, despite the Mira being the only thing that remained alive till the end, and also still up, because they still had control of Fountain in Office. You have to remember that. Sissy Tate Punks won that round without taking that top floor control. So it's interesting that they decided to change that off, but maybe they've spotted something we haven't, so we'll see how it does start to play out. It looks as though for now, Sissy Tate Punks are setting up on that southwest side with an opening in towards jail just now for Snacks, just getting some drones ahead and making sure they have the information inside the customs to spot that there is 2 players rotating in there, but the drone will be taken away before any more information can be fed back. Koji, though, also set up a black eye cam inside the customs as well, just so they have that information. And we'll just dance around those cams for now, gathering as much intel as possible. First logic bomb goes out, and that will make the phone of Scarex vibrate, but won't give his position away for now. As Kelly inside of Armory will be met with quite a racket. The Ram Boogie Bomb goes in, and that will make him think for now. There is one on that they can point to contest. The head is spotted from Reaxis. Rollers came up to try and get the pinch. Just a lick of damage done onto Reaxis for now, but they know exactly where he is. The flash goes deep, and that will at least try and displace him a little bit. Now he pushes C4, and Reaxis can't shoot it out of the sky. Unfortunately, Kelly will come out on top of that engagement, and the opening pick will go towards the defense there, but Snacks will bite one back onto Kelly. The immediate refrag coming through, and Scarex is scared himself back in towards the site. Snacks now has control of Offices, and with it comes the hatch, because the hatch wasn't reinforced. They don't even need to work for it. They were planning on playing this as long as possible. The defense of Ice Force, as a mission now, sets things up out towards jail. Pano takes quite a bit of damage to say the customs as well. Rolo trying to pinch things out from that side of the map, and approaching the last minute here, Di, even scales 4 apiece.
Well, it's now time to start the vertical play, make the defenders move around, make the defenders exposed to yourself, so you can get the picks one by one in order to secure the round very easily. So we can see everyone is already not quite on side. We have 2 people from Ice Force Esports being on side, trying to hold side down, but the Capcan trap is going to do that what they expected.
Can't help but have a giggle when a Capran trap claims the life of someone, especially when it was an adaptation as well. They changed it onto the Capcan as well. But another player is felled. It's Slack to find Skirex, leaving 2 members for Ice Force. The drop will come, and the bullets just come a little bit late to actually disguise it. No, they don't. Snacks has an idea of where Icox is, and Icox doesn't realise the drop did come. Pano's got a down onto Snacks inside of bathroom and tries to rotate through Passport, but there's a barricade in his way to try and stop him. As a C4 in pocket, just send it into bathroom. You get yourself a triple kill because they were stacked on top of each other, but Emission knows where to look and finishes that round off for the attacking side here. And another one up there. They've arrived. Such as Deep Punks seem to have found a bit of form with these attacks onto that bathroom site.
Well, IceForce has now the ability to go back to Armory as they won it the first time they played on the defense. Definitely should bring them this time another win and maybe put them also up to a 5-5. Nonetheless, that round was very smoothly played from CC State Punks. They joined the enemies out, got the kills one by one. There was a beautiful C4 coming in from Killy, taking out the Ram, which was also very essential for the vertical play, but it just didn't really work out. But the refrag was there, and that's important. If you get fragged out, the refrag from CC State was there, making it back to an even man count. But losing Killy wasn't that bad because you already used to C4. He's done his things as a Roma, pushed back a little bit CC State Punks. At the end of the day, IceForce, they crumbled a bit after losing Killy there.
Yeah.
It's just the top floor couldn't really hold him out. All of them fall back. Then they started the vertical play, and after that, you can't. The entire side is basically not playable anymore, giving CC State Punks the entire side. Just didn't really look so good for IceForce-Esports.
Certainly didn't. No, different site. Back up to Armory we head. So strongest site coming up again. Of course, the only one they've won so far on the defense. So we'll see, of course, if Sissy State Punks can make their amendments to this site attack and see if they can come up on top. And speaking of changes, they've brought along the Blitz. And I suspect that Koji is about to get a rude awakening at the top of the east staircase. And he certainly is, because Snacks is right in his face and claims his life. But, oh, immediate refrag from Killy. 4 apiece now. 2 members taken down very early, and they'll be happy that it's the Blitz to go first. Pano, though, will find Rolo, and they're making work on opening up this office wall. JJ on the other side as well, just joining up. Make sure to get rid of that Rooney device so they can hop in. Kelly won't be aware of it, actually, for now. But hops right back in, because Icox has sent a C4 right onto the doorway. Beautifully timed. Reaccessing a mission now in a 2 versus 4 scenario here, Dai.
With 2 minutes still being left on the clock, it's pretty much a TDM meta. Talking about it's a 1v4 now. With a trade.
Yeah, I respect it there from Kelly there. He gets the kill and immediately tries to get on and deny the mirror window from being lost. The mission's not quite aware of the fact that there is indeed an angle being held in towards offices, so he has to be careful as he pushes up towards Fountain for now. But still has full HP. And of course, there's on Ayana, still 2 nades in pockets, so still has plenty to deal with. And I'm going to use one of those just to make sure that they can open up that break room door. Gives away their position in the process, so has to be careful as they edge through here. Has managed to catch the Azami sleeping here, doesn't realise where they are, tries to flick into their head and unfortunately misses the shots. Pistol in the hand, and Skx is going to come out on top. Ice Force, they take another defense and they buck the trend as they were looking as though they were up against it for the last 2 rounds. They finally claim one back, and 5 each now on border.
But see, now it comes down here which one of us was actually correct. Also, for the viewers who are watching here in the chat, watching these 2 teams competing for more points, write it into the chat. Which do you think, which team is gonna be the first one on match point? Both these teams are currently on 5-5 each, meaning the next round who wins it is gonna be on match point, meaning they could win potentially this map. But we could also go overtime. Again, write in the chat which team you're siding with, as we already talked in that little break there. I'm for the side for IceForce-Esports because of their adaptation, because of their way of changing around. CC Punks did perform the last 2 rounds on Bathroom and Talos quite well, so I'm afraid here from my side seeing this, especially because this could go both ways here. They have the capability. IceForce-Esports are a very structured team. We see they always have drones, always have the intel, they have the refrags, also from the side from IceForce. The last round they've won, they had just the man advantage, they took off these kills. They didn't expect the Blitz to die so early, I believe, from the CC State Punk side,
Yeah.
but that was quite crucial.
Yeah, massive play there. Of course, getting that refrag instantly onto the blitz. But looking ahead to this round, of course, slightly different site. Of course, Armory even now won, and under their belt, they have to change things up. And Vents is where they've headed this time. Tried Bathroom Tellers twice, not worked. So let's head to Vents and see if we can try something different. And speaking of different, we have an extension on that side of the map here. Mission, he's going to find Icox to start things off. Is that a bit of a run out there, or just a jump out, or something? I think it was on double door. Mission just catches Icox getting a little bit too aggressive. And unfortunately, that's the Melusi gone early on. But, of course, it is set and forget gadget for the Banshees, so they're likely already put down out throughout this map, though. But it's that jump out from Kelly. It is indeed. He's going to claim JJ, and that's the hard breach gone for now. So, luckily, it's not all panic stations for the attack, because it's just not as needed, because both hatches are open, because they're playing quite a bit of an extension on this top floor, so it's not too bad for this attacker side here. Reaxis now starts a little bit of an angle in towards that Armory side.
If you play very extended, as we can see here from the side from BLUEJAYS-Sports, they're not playing not only extended, but also very far apart of each other. They need the hedges in order to be able to retreat back to side if there's no one being there to get the refrag, for example. We can also see Scarix in a very cheeky position.
Certainly is, but he gives away his position. No, he doesn't. Snacks has no idea he's behind him. There's a kill on the other side as well. Scarix is still in offices. They have no idea he's behind them, and there's a kill downstairs as well. Pano finishes off a mission, and Scarix makes his move. He finds one, looking for two, can't quite connect as Rolo comes out on top of that engagement and finds himself in a 20 HP situation. But still, Pano's upstairs. They haven't been able to clear out Armory. Pano gets aggressive now onto that, but he's pinched out and finished off. Koji now in a 1 versus 2. He has Echo Drones available, so he will likely want to try and play this in a post-plant scenario, try and deny the plant, try and boil down the time to that situation, but there's still so much time left for the attack to work with here, Dai.
But Koji, he needs at least one kill to make this run happen. As we can see, CC8 they still have a drone in order to get that information. This is why I meant earlier, they're a very structured team. They get that info, what they need, but with the Echo drones, he has also the info. Knowing he's going to drop into Archives, as both of them are ready to do a small execute here inside. Question is just, can he find the kill? Or is this round going to go to BLUEJAYS-Sports?
They've droned that side of the map. I don't think they're aware that Koji's over there at this time being. They flash out the hatch and drop. Reaxis is just checking the angles, make sure they do have a look around. Koji, though, spots at least ahead. It's for a split second through between that, though. And here's the plant going down. Tried to bring the Echo drone round, but it won't get there in time. It stuns out the person on the coverage, knows there's one there, but doesn't realise where the plant's went down. Reaxis on the coverage, straight off the plant, finishes it off. And Sissy Tate Punks, they take the round in a question mark in chat there, trying to figure out what just happened inside of that round. Match point now in favour of Sissy State Punks.
Looks like maybe the Austrians might be winning this. Sissy Says Punk is an Austrian organization, just for the
oh, okay, I see how it is. I see how it is. Okay. So she's bet on Ice Force now. And Sissy State Punks are in the lead. That's they're Austrian. I'm Austrian, guys. Yeah. I see how it is. However, I think this match deserves overtime. I think that's what it's destined to know. I'm going to speak into existence. I'm hoping that you agree with me. I'm hoping that the viewers at home are agreeing with me. It's been a great series so far, and I'm glad that after what was a very one-sided series to start with, we are now got one that's a lot closer. But it's Vents now. It's Vents this time. We've seen it from Ice Force. They've got a similar setup. Do you think they've done enough to get this round? Do you think the changes? Do you think they've spotted it out? Do you think they know what's went wrong here?
It's hard to say. It's very hard to say because it's the same setup, it's the same lineup.
Yeah,
they've lost. It's just gonna. They have to play differently.
I mean, if you want to make a discussion, I guess Icox did run out very early on, and maybe that's what they're thinking. Just let's not get too brave here. Let's just chill out. Let's do our setup and not try to be too cheeky with it. And Icox is, of course, going to live longer this round than he did the last round because he's made it past the first 10 seconds at the very least, and he's stayed in sight. He's almost wedged in the one position and not been allowed to move. It's almost like he's been banned from going for anything. He's like, nope, right, guys, I'm not going to do anything. I know that. I gave it a try last time. It didn't quite work out, so I'm going to play a little bit more careful this time. And Looks as though they're going to start things off, though, on the top floor out towards the CCTV side for SSP, and Reaccess is the one getting on that drone, just gathering intel, coupled together with a mission. Snacks, though, will find Koji in the opening pick yet again, and will go towards the attacking side, and it's a great pick to get. It's indeed the Echo who was inside of Bathroom the last time. It's not quite worked out, and Snacks is just taking the momentum with him and trying to claim Bathroom for his own, but Icox is there to trade him out, and we find ourselves in a 4-4 scenario. 2 members gone, for one for each side, and a mission just trying to work to make the C4 beautiful from Pano, just pops out for a split second and just Kobe's that one right to the feet of a mission and takes him right out of the round before he can make an impact. 3 members now on side for Sissy Tate Punks. JD takes quite a bit of damage, but looks to try and work to open up the armory wall to give them an angle deep, but Pano inside of armory desk for now. Koji as well inside of Fountain. Together though, Kelly though will finish off, or Kelly will be dealt with even. Rolo finds that kill. Pano, though, is thinking about going down the hatch. He's thinking about, should I stay? Should I go? Bit of a back and forward here as he just makes the decision. JD getting aggressive inside of Archives as well. Reacts up on the other, spots the head and will claim the life of Pano for free. Now it's in favour of the attack here, Dai. It looked as though it was a good start here for Ice Force, but they've let it slip a little bit. Icox and Scare X now in a 2 versus 3. Ooh.
It's the same. Ooh. Very, very close. It's the same situation as before. It looks like Ice Force Esports, they just have struggles when to fall back to side. Same the round as before. Pain just did not went back to side, and that was very crucial. Same as this round. Pain just didn't want to leave top side, and they need eventually to give up side. And that's a very big reason why they've lost last round, and there's also a big reason why they've lost this round. And yet again, in Amanda's advantage for the side for Ice Force Esports, not looking too good, but this time Icox is alive. It could deal some damage, and Skyrex still has a C4, so this could turn around because CC State Punks, they do not have a single drone left. Could be crucial.
Certainly could be. The plant going down on, they have coverage from above. The C4 will go out. Rolo will deal with Icox at the bottom of the metal staircase. That leaves Scarix in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Well, it was a 1 versus 3, but he found Rolo and almost gets the player on the window. The plant is there, and unfortunately for the side of Ice Force, Reaccess is on the coverage from at the top. And the SSP, they'll win that one out 7-5 on border.
Can I just go back saying that obviously State Punks is an Austrian team? Or is that already off the board?
I'll see you walk it back a little. I'll walk it back. I won't be too smug. To be fair, it was just a 50-50 decision. I'll let it slide this time. Just a little bit of friendly banter. But, you know, Ice Force, they'll not be happy about that one at all. Coming so close to winning that one out. 7-5. They lose it, unfortunately. They'll at the death. It was like back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. It looked as though overtime was beckoning. It was so close. They had the advantage. They had the man advantage. They had things set up. Unfortunately, they just let it slip. And they lose that one out. So 7-5, that in favour of Sissy State Punks versus Ice Force. So first game, of course, if you are just kind of tuning in or you missed that first game, of course, it did go 7-0 to Dunlimited versus Blue Jays Talents. So a very one-sided affair on Clubhouse before that. But we don't have any more games because the final game was unfortunately cancelled. It was unfortunately a forfeit for the last game. So that's going to be pretty much it from us. Is there anything you want to discuss before we go?
Can't really discuss much because we have seen a lot of things, especially from the second match. The first match was a run over. The second match was closer, but Ice Force Esports, they had a lot of struggle defending bottom side. We saw them, they cannot just give up on top floor. And you gotta give up top floor, especially when you're being pressured. And we saw it, especially in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
They were in a 3v3 scenario. Payne had twice the chance to drop, or multiple times to drop the hatch. He decided against it, didn't hear the person coming into metal, then dying of it. The round before, he had the chance to retreat back, especially when there was a tiny little gap of the time where he wasn't being pressured. He could have fallen back, made it a 2-2, but each time they decided to stay upstairs. They decided to stick with top floor, and that was their curse. Same as Bathroom and Tellers. They cannot give up top floor, and that's a big reason why they've lost both times, or all 4 times when there were bottom floor spots, and each time they were top floor, they got the win.
It's unfortunate for them. However, it was a good game. It was very entertaining, at least, and we got a bit more of a series, I guess you want to call it that, than the first game. Of course, it was a bit of a rollover from Unlimited in the first one, but just the 2 games tonight. Like I highlighted, the final game I was unfortunately forfeited. I don't actually have the result to hand, but yeah, it was a forfeit coming through. So that's going to be it from us tonight. Just the 2 maps from us. I've enjoyed myself. My first cast in Vibrant. I've had a good time. I hope you've had a good time, Di. But that's going to be us closing up. So I'm going to go and have a lie down after that. Don't know about you.
Gonna just eat my cake. That's all I'm waiting for.
The world's first customizable and premium mechanical keyboard experience. When designing Everest, we wanted to bring an uncompromised, highly personalized product to the market. We offer you maximum freedom of choice. Let us show you how. Comprised of CNC milled double aluminum faceplates, you'll immediately see and feel the exceptional build quality. Feature-packed, Everest includes a modular media dock and magnetic numpad with programmable color display keys, hot swappable mechanical switches, RGB illumination, and a magnetic palm rest. The media dock with display dial allows you to control your media, adjust and easily switch profiles, check your system info, and more. It will also feature indicator LEDs. No matter if you're a lefty or require the numpad to be on the other side of the keyboard for macro purposes, gamers rejoice. Everest can make it so. Everest isn't just for gamers. It's designed with flexibility and freedom of choice at heart, making it the perfect keyboard for designers, illustrators, editors, and all professional users. Create profiles that remap your keyboard to have your most frequently used commands conveniently bound to keys of your choice. Optimize your workflow every day. Take your performance to the next level. We don't believe in one size fits all. Our highly modular design makes Everest just right for you. With countless personalized numpad, media dock, and palm rest configurations, Everest can be completely custom tailored to fit your needs. Everest supports you on your ascension to peak performance and matches your style.
Hi, I'm Tobias, founder of Mountain. There are a lot of good keyboards on the market, but nothing that truly allows you to completely customize your individual preferences. We've changed that. Using only the finest materials, Mountain's unique design and modularity enables you to create unparalleled level of personalization. We've created a unique product for mechanical keyboard enthusiasts, gamers, streamers, and creative people alike. The Everest keyboard can be what you want, when you need it, through ultimate freedom of choice. You now have the opportunity to be one of the first to get your hands on the most sophisticated feature-packed keyboard ever made. Thank you for supporting us.
Reach your summit with Mountain.